Hi, welcome back to the Backyard Woodshop. I'm Tom Ryder. Today we're making shims. That's right, this is a 3/8 of an inch thick, tapers down to nothing shim. It's 12 inches long. It's made out of scrap 2x4. If you want to know how to do it, stick around. What we need to make this jig is pretty simple. I like the 2x6, so that's what I'm going to be using. So we need a 2x6 that's 14 inches long as our base. Then we got a 2x6 that's 10 inches long. That's actually just more of a guard. So you don't have to have this as a 2x6. It could be 2x4. Whatever scrap you have will work. Then I've just got a piece of 2x4 that I'm going to make a handle out of it so that I can hold it. And I'm just going to take it on a sander and round over the edges. Like I said, this is just a utilitarian jig to make shims. It doesn't have to be beautiful, it just has to function and be safe. And then you're going to need a thin piece of wood, or you can put as thick a piece of wood as you want on the back. I'm just using some scrap that I have here. And then that will make your jig. And you want to keep your handle in the center of this so that, you know, keeps your hand away from the blade too. And then by this overhanging, it's going to keep the shim in place as you pass it past the blade. You're going to be all set. And you'll see how that works later in the video. Now, to make your shim, like right now this is just a square. It doesn't have the extreme angle that we need. And we don't really need to know any angles, any math. So let's say you want it to make a 1/4 inch shim. Well, I'm just going to use a piece of 1/4 inch plywood here. I'm going to put it really close to the back of the saw, or of the to the back of the 14 inch piece of wood, as far back as I can get it, and that will give me that 1/4 inch that I need. And the reason I like it 14 inches because it gives me a couple extra inches that won't be cut. And then we just pass it through, and when you're done, this will only make 1/4 inch thick at the bottom. Now let's say you want to make 1/8 inch. Well, guess what? You just need something that's 1/8 of an inch thick to put back here to the back. You want 3/8, same difference. Bring out some 3/8. You want 1/2 inch? Well, that's fine. You could use 2 pieces of 1/4 inch plywood, make 1/2 inch thick. Whatever you want. So that's the actual recipe to make this work. So let me get set up here. I'll show you how we're going to make this safe cut. If you are uncomfortable with the table saw in any way, this is not a kind of cut you want to do. But I've been around table saws all my life, and I know how I can deal with this and be safe. Never come to a table saw scared. If you're not confident, maybe don't do it. So let's pull this away from the blade and let's do it. Now, as you see, at that last moment after I made the cut, I pulled this out and just let that, so that way it totally cleared the board. And how you can tell if you've got it right is, you're going to take and at the very tail piece, I can just, there we go. So I've got a 1/4 inch cut there. Got all the components for the jig set up here just to show you. So we've got a piece of 2x4, I just sanded it so it's more comfortable when I'm using it. You can put any type of handle you want to use on this. We've got our backer board that we're going to screw in. And then we've got our cover piece, which this just covers the blade and also keeps the shim in place while we make the cut so it doesn't want to go anywhere. And then we've got our board that we just tapered. So how I do this is, and I didn't really measure this part out. As long as this top board covers the shim, keeps it safe. So just so happens this one here is 6.5 inches. So the way I do it is I just want that board to be just as long as my backer board. So I set that up just like that. We're just going to take and put a couple screws in here. So we've got a screw in it. Honestly, this is just a jig, so I'm going to put one there, and I'm going to just put another one next to it. Just want to make sure that our jig's pretty much ready to go. And then of course, you know, you don't want to drive a screw that's too long. So I'm just going to make this right on the fly while you're watching. So then we've got this. Then we've got our piece here. Handle placement is really more of wherever you want it. So the way I do it is I drive one and I'll get it, that way it'll hold it in place. Get that one in place there. All right. Boy, we just got all kinds of problems happening, huh? All right, and then we do this one. Now, I just set my handle so that this didn't interfere with it. And honestly, as far as this goes, just a couple short drywall screws will work. Nothing major. You just want to make sure you keep it away from where the blade's going to be. And everything will be perfect. So, now I'm just going to drive a screw here. Let's see, right about here. And just like that, you've assembled your jig that quick. Nothing fancy. Now all we have to do is set our blade height, which you just wanted a little bit above the thickness of your material right here, which is 1.5 inches. And now I'm set to make as many 1/4 inch shims as I need. So I'm going to give you a nice close-up of this. You can see that you just want it above it. And I've got a good control here. The other thing I've got a piece of wood here that will fit right in. We're ready to make our first cut. Flip it over, and that'll square the piece back up, and you're ready to go again. And now that jig is ready to go forever. You just got to keep it against the fence, and that's it. So you can see, whoops, let me see if I can bring this in. So now we've got our cut in the back right here, and we make perfect repeatable shims that are 1/4 inch thick. That's literally all it is. And then what you do is you cut all those down and you flip them one over the other and you put the board back together. Alright, so off camera I went ahead and put up a 2x6 and cut it all up. It's made, I believe it's 22 pieces out of this. You know, you do lose a bit for the kerf, but 22 shims is good, and they're all exactly the same. That's the other plus. Sometimes you buy them at the store, they could vary. Here's our jig all finished. The only thing I have left to do is just drill a hole to hang it on a hook. The other thing I forgot to mention is this is the width of a 2x6, which is 5.5, so set your fence to 5.5 inches and this jig will be ready to go every time. The other thing is when you're passing this through the blade and it goes all the way past, push it all the way past. Don't slide it back, and then pick it up and start over fresh. Don't slide it back. That just creates undue risk. Other than that, I appreciate you watching. If you would, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit that like button, help me get more views. And until next time, I see you in the backyard.